Hall Heroes. Happy birthday, What is up, everyone, and welcome to Town Hall Heroes, episode number 169. Yeah.
Yay!
I'm Solid Jake, here with Bakery. We've, as you put it on Twitter, have banded together to bring you another episode of this show. It's been a while, man. You were like dead for a few weeks, and then you were a pirate for a week.
I was a pirate for a week. I really enjoyed being a pirate, Jake. You have no idea. Like, that game is fantastic. But anyway, you know, we're back. And I was just thinking, maybe we should change the intro, Jake, because I feel like Sonya probably doesn't deserve to be in there anymore. And sadly, I think we have to take Dunk Train out as well, because he's now ill.
Damn, rest in pieces. Yeah, eventually I will, but it takes a lot more time and effort than you'd think to edit those videos and find a meaningful way to change it. I could just put pictures of cats and stuff during the Sonya segment on top of it. That I can do. Maybe I'll do that. I'll just fill it with cats.
That's what we need. I think your cat is definitely a bigger part of the show than Sonya.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair statement. It's probably an accurate statement too. Dunk Train is sick. We have no guests this week, but I can announce ahead of time that next week we will have Arcaner on the show. So that'll be a first guest of the European side here. For the 2018 season of HGC, and obviously Arcaner has a really good story just coming from ANZ to EU to now being a pro player, and we'll be having him on the show next week. This week we're going into Maiev patch notes in HGC week 2. It's probably gonna be a shorter show, a little more chill, just me and Bakery hanging out. But I actually, before we get to Heroes, I have not watched any Sea of Thieves. I know nothing about the game. I have been very busy with a lot of other stuff and just haven't had time to even think about it. So tell me about Sea of Thieves.
So Sea of Thieves is a game about being a pirate. So you band together with either one teammate or 3 teammates to make a team of 4. And you sail a ship, so there's a lot of nuance to it. So, you know, you have to adjust the sails, like the length, the angle of them. You have to steer, you have to use the anchor. If you crash into things, you need to patch it up. You know, you've got to manage your resources in terms of cannonballs and stuff like that.
So is
you've got to navigate on the map. Like,
is it a full-blown MMO? Like, is it a massive world? Or is it like instance with like 100 people or something?
So in theory, the instances are going to have about 100 people, and it's going to take about an hour to get from one side of the map to the other.
That's the whole game, the whole full. That's reasonable. That's interesting.
Yeah. So and then you go on quests, right? And you can do various different things. So for example, you can pair up with the gold hoarders, and you go and collect chests with them. Or for them, and then you bring them back, you sell them, you get money. Or you can pair up with the Merchant Alliance, and they're going to send you on like different missions of like, you need to go to I don't know where. Let's say you need to go to there, you need to collect 5 chickens, and then you need to deliver them to this place. And the faster you do it, the bigger the reward and stuff like that. And then there's like the Order of Souls, I want to say, which is you go and kill like PvE people, and you know, you two band together in like assault. It's like fortress.
Oh, that's cool.
With like old pirates that are like famous and stuff. And I think there's going to be a bounty system in the game where if you have like a ton of chests, or you have like a ton of gold or like stuff on board, and you go to an island with NPCs, when the next player characters come, the NPCs will tell the new players, hey, I just saw like this these people with like a ton of gold on their ship. It's like really valuable, and they've described the ship. And that player character, whenever they meet NPCs, would then tell them the same thing. And eventually, if you do it for long enough and enough people like circle around, you can zero in on like there's a ship with a lot of gold in this area. Okay, now the area is like this big. Now it's like this big, you know, like, and eventually you can hunt them down and claim the treasure. So, yeah, that's Sea of Thieves. It's super exciting. The potential is amazing. The execution right now is about average.
About average. So cool. I'll definitely have to check out some streams. I know that there's not a ton of content in the beta because it's just a beta right now, right? It's like a pre-order.
Yeah,
beta.
The beta is super threadbare. Like,
yeah,
the bare minimum to play the game.
Yeah, fair enough. Beyond that, dude, like it's like you said, it's been a few weeks since you've been on the show. What else is new with you? How is the new job at Dignitas? It's not, you're not a pro gamer anymore. Now you got all kinds of other responsibilities.
Yeah. So my first task, so far, or the first completed task, I should say, is the Discord server. So I made an official Discord server for Team Dignitas. We've got a bunch of stuff going on in there. We're hosting like viewing parties for HTC.
That's cool.
We've got like a feedback and suggestions area, and just generally like trying to build up a community for fans and making our fans bigger fans, basically. So if that's what you're into, then you can join the affectionately named Digscord. And check that out. I'm actually going to give a link in the chat.
Yeah, do it up. Yeah, I might not have played any Sea of Thieves, but I picked up Dragon Ball FighterZ this past week, and it is everything I wanted and then some. Like it's actually super fun. As someone who grew up watching Dragon Ball Z and Toonami as a kid, it's an amazing fighting game with all the nostalgia in the world and new references I don't get, of course, because I haven't watched Super, but that's been a blast. And it's been helping cut the edge off some of my Hero League salt. Because last week, I had the worst week of Hero League imaginable. And part of it's my stubbornness of keeping grinding after a losing streak when I should have taken a break. But I managed to go from Diamond 4 to Plat 4 in 2 days.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So I actually tuned in to the show last week, Jake, and I saw you show your match history. And you were playing Stardew Valley, my friend. You were a real potato farmer. Oh, sorry.
Tomato farmer. Yeah, that was the beginning of it. Like by the end of Thursday, I was just so angry, and I managed to pick up the Dragon Ball on Friday that week, and it's been really nice to just beat the crap out of people in a fighting game to alleviate my anxiety from Hero League and mix things up. So we're on the upswing now, slowly climbing back to where I was in Hero League. But you can watch me lose video games on twitch.tv/solidjake. Other times, we're going to talk about the relevant news in the community today, starting with Maiev. Obviously, we knew she was going to be released last week. You know, I think we were talking about like, oh, who could this reveal be? It was pretty obvious that it was going to be Maiev based on all the interactions, and everyone figured it out right out the gates. The Reddit police are on point. And she seems insane. Like they managed to take that her like real kit and make a she has Blink, but it's fundamentally very different than Zeratul. She has Fan of Knives, but it's very different than his Cleave, and they've done a really good job executing and building her kit. What do you think about her as a melee assassin?
So I didn't actually get the chance to play her myself. So what happened is I was like, okay, so I'm gonna log on to PTR. Maybe I'll play some with the or Maiev, sorry. See how that goes. And I saw Dunk Train was online, so I actually just ended up playing supports. Well, Dunk Train had the time of his life playing Maiev while he was streaming. So yeah, I didn't actually get a chance to play her myself, but what I will say is that everyone I know that have played her has absolutely loved it. I haven't seen a single person who's been like, I hate this hero. Like, I'm not having a good time. Maybe I haven't looked hard enough. I haven't looked very hard, that's for sure. But yeah, definitely people seem to be loving her. And the thing that stood out to me is I actually had a lot of fun with her and my team in terms of like watching her and seeing,
and following up.
Okay. Yeah, like what's she gonna do? Like, how is she using her pull? How is she using her blink? Like, how is she using the vault of the wardens?
Dude,
The worst pun. The worst pun ever.
I mean, it's a terrible, terrible pun.
Someone needs to get fired right now. I'm calling it. I like people at Blizzard, but whoever it was, it's over. You need to go.
Powerful talent. I mean, that's her trait, Vault of the Wardens, and basically it's an 8-second cooldown, which is super, super short, where she can just dodge any incoming ability. This means that you have a Pyroblast. It's going to hit you, boop, 0 damage taken. In a way, it's, protected by the way, right? But it also dodges, every kind of skill shot, a Stormbolt. It seems unbelievably powerful on an 8-second cooldown. And on top of that, she passively gets 15 armor. Like, what? Really? She has this amazing ability and she passively gets 15 armor? I don't know. It seems busted.
It is a bit weird to me. She passive 15 armor, but
she has talents built around that. So I mean,
you look at Maev's kit, okay, and your initial knee-jerk reaction is, "Oh my god, this hero is actually broken." Like, how can this hero's kit be so insanely overloaded? And it's a very simple answer, actually. She is the only melee assassin in the game, literally the only one who has no form of self-sustain.
Huh.
So it's going to be very interesting to see how on point the balance team have been here, because it's a super big challenge. How do you balance a melee assassin who has no self-sustain? Like, remember, like, Sonya was not even close to viable at some point. Sonya was a joke hero for a long time. And then, like, okay, finally, let's buff Sonya's self-sustain. And then she became viable.
Right.
On her E, if you remember that patch, I think it got increased by 10%. Like, that's how key this kind of thing is to these melee assassins.
Like, technically, you could consider Zeratul a melee assassin, but he's got stealth and blink, and he's a different situation, and he is, in a lot of ways, almost looked at as like a melee / mage, the way his kit exists. But yeah, no, that's insane to think about that being the only melee assassin or true melee assassin that doesn't have self-sustain, but she makes up for it and everything else, dude. Like, she's got phenomenal CC. So if you don't know her kit, just to go through it, Fan of Knives is really like ton of control. It's not like a set distance. She has a lot of good options, and it's a big arc that does damage over time. And when you talent into it, somebody in my stream, and I can't confirm their name or the numbers, but they stated that if you build into Fan of Knives and you get the cooldown reduction upon hitting multiple people, it has higher damage output than a Genji's Dragon Blade if you're consistently hitting 2 or 3 targets. And that's like, it's so she does have big DPS potential with Fan of Knives. Baseline, it's a short cooldown, right? You hit it, it's on a 5-second cooldown.
4 second, I think.
4-second cooldown, and that's really good. Umbral Bind makes her next auto attack become a cleave. So her weapon starts to glow, you smack the targets in front of you, and all heroic targets that you hit basically get a tether that is there for 2.5 seconds. And if they go out of the radius via any form of movement, whether it be Vala's Vault or Zeratul's Blink, they will be pulled back to Maiev and be able to be comboed. The only ability that I can think of off the top of my head that will remove this is Tracer's Recall, because technically that has a cleanse built into her recall, which will remove any effects. Pretty nuts.
The insane thing to me, actually, the most insane thing is just how tanky she actually is. So when I look at Maiev, and when I look at her model, and when I think Maiev as a character, and I imagine her implementation into HOTS, I immediately think squishy.
Not at all.
Like, would you say that's accurate? Were you thinking the same kind of thing?
You would anticipate, yes, almost like a Zeratul, right? That's kind of like what you think about Maiev in her original kit, but clearly Zeratul's in the game, so they had to adjust. They had to make something new and fresh, and I think this implementation, while it doesn't feel squishy, she feels like a true bruiser, not an assassin.
So to like go ahead on that whole Zeratul comparison, Zeratul actually has or sorry, Maiev has around 30% more health than Zeratul, and she has permanent 15 armor.
So she's way more tanky. She's
got more health than Garrosh.
What? Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Speaking of which, by the way, this is a new feature that's coming to the game where you can click on a target and get this unit frame.
And you can drag it around the screen
wherever you want it to be, and just get information pertaining to all elements. And honestly, this is just a great learning tool, especially when you consider the prominence of armor in the meta. Really cool tool. But we can dive into that a little bit more after we talk about Maiev. But yeah, that's a really cool thing. But yeah, the fact that 34, 44 HP level 12. Arthas, well, let's check his. He's got 38, 88. That's not a huge difference. 400 HP difference for, yes, we have a 1 level advantage over the Arthas right now, but for an assassin, what's her HP compared to Thrall baseline? Do you know offhand?
Yeah, give me a second. So Thrall has, at level 10, we'll do our comparison. Thrall has 2,670, and Maiev has... Okay, we're doing a comparison at level 1 because the health scan is broken.
Sure.
So Maiev has 2,150, and Thrall has 1,870.
Weird. I have 2237 in game at level 1.
Really? Oh, yeah, because that's like the 4% scaling.
Yeah.
Wait, so she's even more broken than I thought.
2237 versus Malf at 1662 and Arthas at 2626. So she's in a really strong spot in the fact that she has 15 armor all the time, right? This is all the time, and it's armor. Spell armor, physical armor, just armor. She has crowd control in the form of her Umbral Blind, which is not like a Kerrigan combo where you snap pull someone in. It's more of a I'm restricting your options for a retreat as a punishment, and my team can follow up in a number of ways, right? So it's really not about the solo play as much. I mean, sure, it can be if you're rotating to gank someone, but it's not that raw Kerrigan combo that bodies you. Lastly, she has great movement options too, and that's something that some melee assassins do not have. Thrall's movement options are really not good. She can cast this ability where Spirit of Vengeance goes out and returns to its path at any point of that path. And I love that it stays static for a minute. She can choose to teleport to it. That linger makes it, you can't just predict at the peak they're going to be at that point, line up the skill shot. You can't do that because the Maiev can stall for a moment, and it gives her so many options for what she wants to do. Maybe she chooses to not use it all. Halfway through, she'll use it, whatever. That kind of control and utility is huge for her.
Absolutely. And at the start of the stream, when you asked me what I thought about her, one of the things I was saying is how I thought she was actually quite fun to play against. I had fun playing against her. And that is because it felt like there were so many mini games I was playing facing her to try and, okay, how do I mitigate this W? How do I predict the E? How do I spread out so you can't hit Fan of Knives? How do I maximize the speed at which I get out of this this Warden's Cage? I just felt like I was playing a ton of mini games, and they were all fine to me. I didn't have an issue with any of them. In stark contrast to someone like, let's say, Genji, right, for example, who I think you would struggle to find actually anyone in the world who would say, I enjoy playing against Genji.
I love fighting Genjis. When he casts Deflect, it's so fun. When he dashes away, when I almost killed him, it feels fantastic.
No, I love it the most when he dashes and then uses his second dash slightly after.
Well, that's